my favorite, a brief aside, my favorite jazz musician was Bill Evans, and the jazz critics always said the worst thing that happened to him was when he switched from heroin to cocaine. And you can hear the music very clearly, the difference in his music. The heroin music was just this very, laid back, sort of dark, smoky bar jazz, just very soothing, and it might have been upbeat at times, but it's very, very contained, and overall you might say laid back. When he switched to cocaine, it was night and day. It was what we call diarrhea of the fingers. All right, notes, just 1,000 notes in a solo now instead of say 100 very well placed ones. Just never stop, just this frenetic music, and he would even put track on track on track. He would do, instead of it was very popular in the 70s, some early 80s. They would do, someone might do a piano duo with themselves. So that's, I'm playing the piano, and then I'm going to record over that track with another piano. And then, no, he did a trio. He recorded over it again with a third piano. That's cocaine. That's cocaine, no doubt.
Oh, my goodness.
Acetylcholine. So if you have to listen to Bill Evans, look for the heroin Bill Evans. Acetylcholine. It's made from choline. Choline's found in eggs, salmon, potatoes, oats, brewer's yeast, soy, legumes, whole grains, and avocado. Again, you look at the list and you, I need to eat a balanced and varied diet. It's sometimes easier said than done. Supplements, if you choose to supplement, you might use lecithin or choline citrate. DMAE is best, and I forgot to delineate what it stands for, and I don't remember anymore. But that allows the free choline to enter the brain. That's your best choice for a supplement. Low levels of acetylcholine, people may have memory problems, incoordination, confusion, depression. You can see, I start to sound like a broken record because all of them are very important. They all may be associated with poor memory, depression, confusion. Now, if we have too much acetylcholine, irritability, hypervigilance. So this is someone that can't get to sleep. They're, every little sound, and they're looking to see what it is. Also associated with seizures, asthma. Some psychoses may have an association with too much acetylcholine. Deficiencies are associated with allergies, malabsorption, low thyroid, adrenal problems, liver problems. So you can see, if you're going to get the brain to work properly, you have to make sure you're absorbing things properly. I'll talk about hormones in a few minutes. And the other organs are able to work optimally as well. GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. If every message your brain sent from point A to point B went through without something to temper it and tone it down, you wouldn't be able to control your thoughts. You wouldn't be able to control your emotions. So the entire body works just like muscles work in pairs. Your biceps and your triceps work together so you can have a smooth, coordinated movement. The same sorts of things happen in your brain. Not exactly, but it's close enough. It's a good enough analogy. Low levels may be found in depression, some mania, seizures, and really in aggression. Now, here's what's interesting. Glutamate is a precursor for GABA, but if you supplement glutamine, it doesn't assure that you're going to get adequate levels. Not only that, some schizophrenics already have an elevated glutamate to GABA ratio. So what do? What we find is if we're supplying those cofactors that I said are so important, B6, taurine, manganese, then the body gets to figure out what it needs. And that's probably, we'll be getting to the micronutrients in just a minute. Taurine is also an inhibitory neurotransmitter. It's the second most abundant amino acid in the brain. It augments the effect of GABA. It's going to suppress the norepinephrine, acetylcholine, the glutamic acid. And one treatment for seizures includes GABA and B6 because it helps stabilize the cell membrane that's causing those seizures to begin. Glutamic acid is the most common neurotransmitter in the brain. It is excitatory. It's also a fuel substrate, so it can be an energy substrate. It's going to allow the removal of ammonia and other toxic waste from the brain. It's got an extreme role in learning. If we've got too much, though, we may have hyperactivity, agitation, mania. Autism may have an association with too much glutamic acid, schizophrenia. And this is neat. Glutamic acid, we want to be protected from too much. We have to have enough magnesium and enough zinc. Magnesium is far and away the most common mineral deficiency of people, I say walking around people. If you go to the hospital, it's even worse. Magnesium deficiency is extremely common. We're just not getting enough of it. Zinc is also, men have a much higher need for zinc than women do, and they're much more likely to be deficient in my experience. So it's another thing to take into account when you're looking for your nutrient supplements. Be sure you're going to get plenty of zinc. To protect, again, from this damage of antioxidants, with glutamic acid, you want plenty of antioxidants, coenzyme Q10, vitamin C, vitamin E, and you want to be able to maintain the blood-brain barrier with essential fatty acids. And most of these mixtures are going to have omega-3s and omega-6 fatty acids, and that's the best. The people that need these for their brain need both of them. This is different from taking fish oil because your doctor said it's good for your heart. If you're trying to maintain the blood-brain barrier, you need omega-6s and omega-3s. Now, you may have heard of Dr. Blaylock and Olney, who looked a lot into this. It's not so much glutamic acid, it's the monosodium glutamate. And it shows up in foods disguised as all sorts of things. Yeast extract, autohydrolyzed yeast extract. I can't even remember all the different ways they've come to disguise monosodium glutamate. But they're calling these actually excitotoxins. They excite things to the extent they're actually causing neuron death. Artificial sweeteners are another source for some of these toxins. And you don't have to look far on the internet to find anecdote of someone who was depressed and feeling terrible and finally got rid of all the artificial sweeteners they were using and then suddenly was feeling great. When it comes to sweeteners, I got to put in a plug for my favorite one. I use stevia. It's a plant extract, and it's just a little powdered substance that's, if you have to have something, at least that's natural, and it's not going to have some of the same effect as sugar. It's been used by, for thousands of years. It's been in Japan, again, for decades, so it's very useful. But like I said, that it's actually monosodium glutamate gets hidden as yeast extract, and that would be something that is going to be too much for people, I think. All right, now to the micronutrients. This is the fun part, right? Okay, this is just me just reminding you, without the micronutrients, it won't happen. You can't make the neurotransmitters. So let's look at them. B1 is thiamine. The deficiencies, if people are deficient, it's usually going to be due to poor absorption, and we'll get into digestive health in just a second. Alcoholism, which is not only they're not eating enough of the good stuff, but they're replacing calories with alcohol and with no nutrition, but they may have poor absorption just because of the alcohol. It may actually affect the enzymes and the way that the digestive system is working. Also, there are what's called anti-thiamine factors, like tea and coffee. So those are all things to keep in mind. Where do we find it? Wheat germ, peas, leafy green vegetables, pork, beef. Riboflavin is not, the reason I put this in parentheses is it is not mentioned as a cofactor so much, but I listed it here because you usually find the B vitamins together: meat, eggs, cheese, and peas. So you're going to get riboflavin in there too. Niacin is found in meat, eggs. Am I sounding like a broken record? It sounds like a varied and balanced diet, and it is, but these are the different places that you find it. Consequently, you might expect that someone, say, with schizophrenia, who's not eating well at all, one of the problems that they may have is that they're paranoid of everything and they think all food is poisoned. So it's easy to see how a little bit of this mental illness may get the diet completely off, and therefore the nutrient isn't going to be there, and things may get worse. B6, pyridoxine, definitely going to find deficiencies in alcoholics most likely. Find it in liver, brown rice, fish, butter, wheat, germ, and soybeans.